This video is brought to you by my merch. Drop number 2 is available right now at metathreads.com/Datto until December 1st. The apparently highly anticipated NOVA Hoodie, the hoodie specifically, will be going on sale sometime on Thursday. Hopefully, assuming everything goes according to plan. Check the description for more details. The new exotic kiosk, the Monument to Lost Lights, sells exotics that were only available in content that is now not available to play in the game. Each exotic costs 1 exotic cipher, 1 ascendant shard, or 2 for the raid exotics and Izanagi's Burden, 100 to 150,000 glimmer, and 150 to 200 of some kind of planetary material. Xur offers a quest every week that rewards an exotic cipher, while ascendant shards are a little tougher to come by, mainly coming from Master and GM Nightfalls, or by buying them from the gunsmith for 10 enhancement prisms. Fortunately, enhancement prisms are going to be slightly more commonplace this year than the previous year. This means many players, maybe, I don't know, like yourself, will be staring at a wall of exotics, wondering what to use your valuable currency on. Today, I would like to give some recommendations as to what to buy first based on the activities that you like to do. Let's just get right to it. I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to start from the top. The top exotics that I recommend are the following. For PvE, Ariana's Vow, Anarchy, and Izanagi's Burden. How come? Let's talk about it. PvP's next. Ariana's Vow is one of the most versatile PvE guns in the game and can even put a dent in people in PvP as well. It is a great boss damage dealer, champion killer, it has anti-barrier, it has solar built into it. There is nothing it can't do. If you plan on doing any kind of content above the difficulty of the Strike playlist, and even if you plan on doing that, I could not recommend this gun enough, especially since it is working with Divinity again. It is almost never a bad idea to have this weapon equipped in PvE, and I will almost never question why you would have it on. Anarchy is up next. Anarchy is one of the best heavy weapons in the game for PvE with its damage over time component. The ability to tag enemies and damage them while not being in line of sight is hugely valuable in high-level content, namely against champions. It has great area denial as well, with the ability to set up a chain lightning web, clearing out trash tier enemies without having to do anything at all. Unfortunately, it being a raid exotic means it'll cost you quite a pretty penny, so I would probably invest in other weapons first as you slowly build your spoils of conquest. 240 spoils is a lot. I ran 1 garden and 1 last wish on 1 character, and I got 24. So that means I would need to run both of those raids 10 times each to buy Anarchy. I don't know if the Deepstone Crypt will give more spoils because it's new, but yeah, you're going to need to save for a little while. I don't really mind this price point though, but I would be okay if it was a slight bit lower. Izanagi's Burden, even though it got nerfed a little while ago, still has huge burst damage potential and can function as a champion / boss killer or just a regular sniper. This is going to be great for those of you in the 1230, 1240 range trying to take on bosses in Legend Lost Sectors, or those maybe around 1260 doing the Master Lost Sectors. It's good in Nightfalls for bursting targets, great versatility, not much to hate about it. For PvP, Ace of Spades, Thorn, and Bastion are my top 3. Ace of Spades started real high when it first launched and has been slowly losing popularity since Forsaken, but it's never completely fallen out of the meta and has always been a very strong weapon, even with the nerfs that it received. Now, with the hand cannon RPM changes, it is back in a pretty big way. It hits like a truck, it has great perks, it's one of the few primary weapons that I would consider using in PvE as well. In fact, if you're looking for the best of both worlds, I would probably pick Ace of Spades number 1. Maybe Ariana's Vow number... actually, I don't know. God, that's close. Actually, that's really close. Dealer's choice. Thorn has always been a popular PvP pick. Still is, especially with its 2-tap potential. The damage over time not only keeps your target low health for longer, but it allows you to track them while the damage over time is happening thanks to the damage ticks appearing on your screen. Thorn also gained some PvE popularity recently thanks to Necrotic Grips for Warlock, a new exotic in Beyond Light. Thorn's perk will apply to Necrotic Grips perk, which spreads a damage over time sort of poison effect, making for a very strong AoE build. I do wonder how this is going to fare in high-level PvE content, especially considering that all champion mods go into your arm slot now and not your gun. That means exotics just became much more viable against champions. Bastion seems like a weird pick. It's weird. It's a fusion rifle that doesn't behave like a typical fusion rifle, but it sprays damage at your opponents. Definitely more of a niche pick. I understand. It's a fusion rifle. Kind of weird. But if you're open to something other than slide shotgunning or clicking on some heads with a sniper, I say give Bastion a shot. This might be a controversial pick though. Again, very niche pick. Buyer beware. Only if it interests you, but it's strong. All right, Datto. What about some contenders? What about some mid-tier stuff that could have some hopes down the road? Well, the number one thing in my mind is Sleeper Simulant. Sleeper Simulant has always flirted with being one of the best boss damage dealing weapons in the game, but seemingly always finds itself nerfed before it can hold on to the title for too long. This is a gun that you should really keep your eyes on, as if it receives any sort of a buff, or we find a boss encounter that can reliably use its ricochet damage, you're going to want to have it. Legend of Acrius is up next. It hits like an absolute truck, was actually one of the best options for Galron in the Crown of Sorrow raid before that was removed. Legend of Acrius has had a couple periods of time where it's been one of the best damage dealing weapons against bosses. Even when it's not, it'll still absolutely destroy anything in its path, making it a very satisfying weapon to use. However, it being a raid weapon means it's behind Anarchy, so it might be a while before you see this if you don't have it already. I'm also going to put Taraba here. Controversial, I know, but it is of a much lower priority. Taraba has huge potential if it ever receives any changes in the positive direction anyway. I think it's not a bad gun right now, but for its cost, I cannot recommend you scoop it up before the other two raid exotics. But Taraba has the potential to become godly overnight with the right buffs. Alright, Datto, what about some low-key stuff? Some underground, some underrated. You got anything there? Oh, I got you. How about Bad Juju? A potentially infinitely firing primary weapon. This brings almost everything you could ever want in a primary weapon. It's got an auto reload effect, it's got rampage, and it gives you bonus super energy. Every class can utilize this. It's never a bad pick, and at risk of repeating myself, champion mods, they're in the arm slot now, so this can actually get a little bit of use in high level content. The only issue is that chaining kills in higher level content can be a little bit harder to do. Symmetry. Datto, that is a scout rifle. What are you talking about? Symmetry is a name you probably haven't heard in a while, but it is one of my top low-key picks. It is one of the most interesting gunplay experiences in the game, allowing you to switch from precision scout rifle fire to AoE projectiles with really high damage. I know people think scout rifles are trashed here, but I say nay. I say they're just misunderstood. Symmetry's unique experience is definitely worth trying out at some point, in my opinion. Here's a hot take. Yotun. Pun not intended. Yeah, I said it. This weapon is fun as hell to use in PvE. It hits pretty hard. It leaves a small damage over time component, and I think is hugely enjoyable to use. While it's more of a meme in PvP, it's a meme that can actually net you some kills thanks to the slight tracking on all of its shots. Okay, Datto, we get it. You really like PvE. Can you go back to PvP for a second? The last word. For controller users as of right now, Bungie has messed with this gun a lot, and at the moment, it's not really working the best for keyboard and mouse players, but it works very well for you controller players out there. Truth is a boring but reliable choice. It's a rocket launcher that will work its butt off to make sure that your rocket hits the target. More effectively utilized in Gambit for you invaders out there, but at the same time, Xenophage probably gets the job done just as well because you don't need to worry about your bullets going into a tree unless your aim is really that bad. Okay. What about some specialty items? Some really niche stuff. Sure. How about Lumina? Lumina provides a pretty unique take on support by having you shoot healing orbs at your teammates. While it's not the most effective slayer out there, it can be fun to keep your team constantly buffed up. Its inability to stack with other damage buffs, though, means that when things really need to die and you really need to bring the heat, you're probably going to be using Well of Radiance or Ward of Dawn instead, almost completely negating Lumina's bonus. Le Monarch is a niche pick as well. In PvP, the damage over time component makes targets very weak for a very long time, and hunters with Oathkeeper will see a little bit more value out of this as well. In PvE, very niche, more of a specialized weapon in specific use cases, but at the end of the day, it's a bow. You know, it's a bow. All right, now we're starting to get to the bottom of the barrel here. Tommy's Matchbook is a gun with some serious horsepower behind it, but the thing that ruins it for me is the aiming experience. I don't like the way the scope kind of jiggles around. If you can get past that, then you could potentially throw this into the low-key tier, but also hurting yourself in higher level content can prove to be quite a detriment. Fourth Horseman is a pretty fun gun to just instantly destroy a big target, but it has a lot of downtime with its reload, and in higher level content, trying to shotgun stuff usually does not end very well. Sturm and Drang is definitely a niche option that can have some high payouts, but I just don't think most people have the patience for that payout. Dealing a ton of damage in a single headshot is cool, but when you're mostly killing trash mobs with primary weapons, 10,000 damage is the same as 500 damage if an enemy only has 400 health. Also, you need to run double primary. I'm potentially undervaluing this, but I don't think Polaris Lance deserves to be in the bottom tier trash heap because making explosions is pretty cool, but it just doesn't slay quite hard enough for it to be worth it. This is very much I just really like this gun on a personal level kind of pick. Okay, we've talked about the best, we've talked about the medium best. Now it's time for the stuff to maybe only get if you're looking to complete your collections. Mida Multi-Tool. It's a scout rifle. I want you to imagine a scout rifle. You got it. You nailed it. This is very easily replaced by a legendary scout rifle. Pass on Mida. Rat King is a meme gun that you use with your friends one time in a 6-stack or in a raid. That's it. It does have a little bit of value with the invis after reload kill effect. Definitely some build potential there, but otherwise, pass. Worldline Zero. The only reason I would recommend this is because at this very moment, there is some sword skate potential with this weapon. However, I don't believe this to be intended, so if it's fixed, then Worldline is replaced by a legendary sword. Leviathan's Breath. Sure, it's got Unstoppable on it, and it has a fun little knockback effect, but most people are not going to want to replace their power weapon with this in anything that actually matters. Devil's Ruin. It's a fun little laser beam, has anti-champion capabilities, but it's still going to be a pass from me. Also, Always On Time, the Sparrow from Scourge of the Past, is currently the fastest Sparrow in the game, despite it just being a 160 speed Sparrow like all the other 160 speed Sparrows. I'm not really sure why, but if you have it, I would use it. But would I spend materials to buy this at the kiosk? No. Definitely no. Unless you have everything else. No. Anyway, that wraps up my recommendations for the Monument to Lost Lights as of Season 12. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.